2 is ready to get underway. Viper gets one up, but B now looking to pull it back. He'll whip out the Chinese. He's tried and true here on Altai. While the Viper, well, he is an enigma right now, whipping out the Rus on a map that we rarely get to see them on anymore.
Indeed, simply because deer spots sometimes a bit weird, can be behind cliffs as well. Also, we don't feel like, okay, too many extra wolves, so high view typically our choice. But Viper, even really rushing that scout, went for 3 villager hunting cabin, tries to get out his numbers nice and early. Deer spot for him at the bottom, and the big question will be the boar placement, as you mentioned earlier. Kind of closer to him, and the other one pretty much hidden at the top of the map.
This is a pretty exploitable one, right? Like, the southern boar feels like you could set up an archery range because it's halfway towards your opponent's base. It's very deceitful because you look at it, it's like, well, it's not center. Yeah, but it's actually halfway towards B's base. Like, if you drew lines between them, it's not that much extra of a walking distance, and you're still saving time. And it's a choke point, so you can actually defend it. Not to mention the fact there's a stealth forest there, so you would get a hunting cabin, which is generating gold on top of gathering from the boar.
Why do we have 3 villagers on wood for the Rus player? What is the Viper up to? Is this a hunting cabin in Dark Age?
Yeah.
This is so weird.
So, well, the wheelbarrow is really good on the
wheelbarrow.
opening. What we might see from Viper, depending on how much gold he gets as well, there is a build that involves getting the broadside, the broadaxe, and then building a wooden fortress. So you basically inflate your wood count as much as possible. I'd actually like this build, especially against the Chinese, because Chinese is very much a condensed economy. I very much still see them as a feudal age power civ. So the thing that we got to look at on B's base to see if that's enabled to be a feudal age power civ is what is the generation? Well, he's got those deer and he's got those wood. And what I love about this deer woodline spawn for B is it actually enables him to go into the Imperial Academy, drop it right between the mill and the lumber camp, which is incredibly efficient. It means that instead of requiring 3 Imperial officials, with one of them being on tax duty, he can use both of his supervising officials to drop off taxes as well, because all they have to do is turn around. And although they look a little bit old, they're not that slow on their turn speed, right? Like, they do it in a second, so you don't lose efficiency supervising, which means you get that additional 20% on all drop-offs on the building you're supervising.
Yeah, super efficient economy there for Chinese, and potentially we see a big feudal age battle. Zhonganu could be an option. I really want to know the deer spot at the bottom. Is that one taken yet? I didn't really see a scout being there, and yeah it was taken, and apparently taken by B as well, because Viper's bounty, not super impressive. Will break 250 any second though.
But we said that B went for the 2 scouts, right? So we expected this kind of contest. I feel like Altai is a very hard map for you to just manipulate as easily as the Rus. You don't have this center location, and also if you're talking about like corners, like usually open maps are better for the Rus because you can crisscross to the wolves quicker. But because you've got these natural choke points and these whole cliff sides, you sometimes spend double the amount of time reaching like a deer site compared to, say, Lipany. So I think that does cripple your ability to Zerg bounty, but he's doing pretty well. Like 300 at this stage in the game is a big booster. That's 300 free resources on top of everything else. But look at this B. He doesn't go for the efficiency play we were talking about. Instead, he drops the Imperial Academy super condensed next to his town center. A surprising choice.
Yeah, next to the mill should still be an influence, the woodline obviously, but gold not included. But obviously he didn't have the chance to build one that was including all of it. Will be more of an economic approach.
I think, if I'm not mistaken, with the berry line would be in range of the Imperial Academy with this layout, I think. I think that's why he done it. Like, it's going to be a bit tight, but it should just about have range over there. I don't think we can see it until it's like fully complete. And you have to have the player selected, but then in a second...
I would say no. Look.
Maybe he just about gets it. Like, the tower range is, what, 3, I want to say? Like, the stable should just about be clipped in range of it. So I think it's not even for the berry play. It's kind of surprising. Admittedly, for, like, min-maxing, if you put it in that choke point I talked about, like, half of it is blocked out by a tree line and the mountains, so you wouldn't be able to, like, min-max it late game. But I'm still quite curious as to why he thought this Imperial Academy placement was better.
Well, yeah, maybe... Where could have been another spot, though? Like, even if this one is not ideal, if we think about, like, another one would not have been that great either. By the way, a Viper there.
There it is.
Building.
It's time. We highlighted it. It was likely to happen because he's got that small little tree line that's going to get him some passive gold as well. But look at the race out. B isn't going to allow it for free. He brings out the horseman as well. He read it perfectly. And he's the Chinese, so he can supervise this. And he can get a critical mass of horsemen out to butcher the villagers. Scouts chased away for the moment. We'll turn around for them, but he needs to get on the villagers right now before they get the wooden fortress up. Just needs to body them as hard as possible. And it is difficult, though. You don't get bonus damage against them, and they do have shivs that hurt. But he's baiting them.
Oh, double horseman. That's interesting.
Viper.
And
He needs
Viper's
to
going
rush
for a
this.
knight now for the defense.
Like, Viper needs to rush this. He needs to just rush it. Like, he's shivving them instead of just finishing the structure, and he's slowly just being baited in. B can get more horsemen out if he chooses, and they're coming. And this is problematic. Now he tries to invest in it, going straight for it. Kills off one of the horsemen, more showing up, heavy damage being done. The villagers, because they're spending so much time fighting the horsemen, they haven't continued construction of the defenses. And it means that this defense is probably never going up, and B will buffer him away from the ball.
Oh, God. And villagers are going down. Obviously, 8 arrived there, meaning 4 died, 5 died, 3 still alive. A knight coming over for the save, but I think a 6th villager could have died if B wanted to commit. Viper with massive losses early on.
Viper, he just wanted blood too badly. I don't know, maybe the ball sent him into a frenzy. He got as aggressive as it did. Anything that attacked him, he needed to attack instead. And it means that he's still going for the wooden fortress. And B, just like a swarm of bees, is going to overwhelm him here. Straight in, too long to construct it. More of these villages will be going down. And even if you do complete the wooden fortress, at what cost?
At least of the cost of 6 villagers. Now finally it's up, and B will be super happy with how this opening went for him.
Look at the numbers. 24 to the 18. 24 to the 18. And now Spearman is what he's just pushing out a Zerg. He's doing the StarCraft strategy. He's like, okay, this wooden fortress is going to be hard to get through, but it's made of wood. And we do have torches.
How much do you need, though? I don't think a spearman push, horseman push alone can take a wooden fortress, right?
Wow, you say that.
How much would you need?
You need a lot.
Those are
But
low
they
HP
will
horsemen
burn
as
it down. And the question is, like, afterwards, does he not just run them towards his opponent's base with a ram rush, which is definitely open to him right now. I feel like Viper hasn't prepped himself, and he revealed his hand because he went for a stable, right? So he hasn't gone instantly into the archer ranges, but he's looking to fix that now. And the issue with this is he's built into an archer range, but I feel like B has a better position right now. Spearmen and horsemen, all pokey sticks, but everything in that pokey stick formation deals with the archer cavalry composition of Viper. And it's actually hard for Viper to take a win in a fight without optimal micro, because when these fights occur, unlike when you have a ranged and a melee battalion, everything is just going to be a cluster. So you're just trying to click on the right unit with your archers, and you might misclick and end up firing onto horsemen, which you don't get bonus damage against.
Look at the beautiful scout positioning by the Viper, though. He knows exactly the army size, he knows exactly where they are. And Viper even goes for the greedy approach, goes for the wood upgrade. I'm really surprised that he feels like he can pull it off.
It's very
He
late
needs
for
more
this.
army, in my opinion. 4 military against 15.
Yep. It's so greedy, and it means he's so stretched. He has got the wooden fortresses, but like this is the awkward part. Even if he doesn't kill you, every time you garrison those wooden fortresses, it's idle economy, right? Your units aren't dead, but they might as well be as long as they're sitting in those buildings. They're not really doing anything other than firing a few arrows out.
Building up more army. Do you think we need a siege workshop? I actually think go for siege engineers here out of the blacksmith. You're losing the timing for B. I think this is actually, it sounds so weird, but it's transitioning to a second town center.
So B likes to do that when he has like a 70%, 75% win percentage feeling to the game, right? Like I feel right now he's at the 60, 65. Like he's got good control, but like he needs to see something else full, or he needs to see a bigger investment from Viper. Because right now, like Viper, yeah, I mean, like I say 60% for good reason, because he doesn't have a way.
6 villager kills?
Because he doesn't have a way of reaching the wooden fortresses yet. That's the issue, right? You already highlighted
That's
yourself.
why you go for the second town center.
I don't see him doing this though. Like his timing, usually when I see B go for a second TC as China, it's like 12 minutes. He really likes to exploit the early game and feel like he's very comfortable first. And in fairness, I like the way he's doing this because his army's still scaling ahead of his opponents. And you already highlighted the important detail, didn't you, Nili? He's already up on villages. So why go extra greedy? You're already better off than your opponent.
Okay, yeah, I can see that. Obviously, we don't have the Barbican yet, so no song. No. Both players producing villages at the same time. Viper lost track of that army. Archer's a bit out of position, and now they're running in.
Here they come. The riders are through. Archer's out of position. The garrison could come out into the wooden fortress, but your archers do not have the same luxury. And it'll be a spread out. B will just look to run him down. Spears will be targeted by the archers. More reinforcements are arriving from the main base of the Chinese. Need to be careful, though. This wooden fortress is not easy to breach, and I feel like B, he's throwing away his army here. He might get the trade, but at the end of it, the wooden fortress is still going to be standing, and a lot of his troops might be dead. So instead, he targets it with the spears. Straight onto the wooden fortress. Spears being traded out by the archers, but the horsemen are finding their bang for buck with their double damage against the archers. The archer line is going to fall, and Viper is going to be in a lot of trouble here because this wooden fortress almost half burnt down. And once it sets on fire, those villagers might panic, and there's still plenty of troops funneling in from B's base to kill them when they come out.
More archers in the queue, more knights in the queue as well. Tower is trying to make something happen. Even a knight and an archer in there. That might have been a mistake. Would have loved to see them fight. Tries to squeeze into the tower, but not even that as an option. B denies the villager. Denies the archer.
The villagers are in there like, oh god, thank god we're safe here. The knights will come soon. Wait, knights, why are you in here? Get out there and fight them! Instead, the villagers have to get out to repair. It's all on fire, and it's looking like a disaster. There's no way for him to repair this anymore. It's on fire, slowly dying. Final round of torches come out, and then this forward base is going to be fully sacrificed as Viper will have no way of protecting it. Too many horsemen here, not enough knights, and it means every troop that Viper builds out of these archery ranges is being sacrificed to the Great B.
B with a beautiful counter strategy to the Viper's play. The early horsemen and just the faster production being used by the Chinese just spammed out those horsemen. They were so efficient against the early knights, villagers, and few scouts, already low HP, and beautiful timing. B, crazy build order.
Yeah, honestly, like, it was a phenomenal opening from him. I think this game presented exactly what I was highlighting about B. Like, he has the potential to beat the best people in the game. He understands his strategy. He's the guy who discovered the ball strat. And you chose to pick it on a map where it's suboptimal. Like, this map isn't absolutely terrible. It's, like, mid of the field, but it's not Lippany. You haven't got that wood line as a defense point. You haven't got these nice choke points to the same extent. I think, actually, in a lot of ways, the way that those mountains formed baited Viper because it looked like he should have an actual choke point. But the delay, like, this is the power of the Chinese. Once you hop straight in to that feudal age and you just get that supervising going, it's a beauty. It's so efficient. It's, for those who don't know exactly how it works, it turns any building into 3 times that building. So you're producing horsemen every 7 seconds as opposed to the 22. That is a huge booster to a unit that sometimes when you try to transition at that stage, it's too delayed. And we talked about Viper having some efficiency playing as the Rus, where he can build more of these structures early on due to the Rus's efficiency around wood. But that's outclassed by the fact that B's able to make any given building so efficient via the supervise. Phenomenal from him, showing us just how efficiency works in this situation.